George, you going first?
The floor is yours, Chad.
3-point defense been a lot better in conference play. I know the Tulsa game probably helped that. Is it a regression? Is it adjustments you've made? Is it a combination?
I think when you deal with 3-point percentage defense, you got to look at attempts. So I think teams are averaging 15 attempts against us in conference play, and they average 22 and a half in non-conference. I do think you can control make or misses to a certain extent, but statistics show that that's over time. You know, it's a make or miss. You don't completely control it. So, but we can control attempts. So I think our 3-point defense has certainly been something we focused on. I think it's a progression. Our man's getting better. I talk about open and close stands. You know, when you're in a closed stance defensively in our gaps, you're going to get out the shooters quicker. When you're in an open stance, you're not. Tie that in with personnel awareness and scouting reports, and I think you're getting a better 3-point percentage defense as far as attempts go.
What close open, is that like the way you're shading guys, or can you explain that a little bit more?
So when you're in a gap, watch last year, this year.
Yeah.
So in the zone, you're at open stance. We close our stance in order so that when the ball, if you're in your gap and you're guarding your man, the ball's being guarded by someone else, you're in a closed stance to where you're seeing your man in the ball. Versus an
like
open stance where you don't see your man.
The old school in the box thing, you don't.
We got backdoored 3 times in the Central Florida game. We were in open stance 3 times. So you'll be able to see it on that.
Yeah.
But it just helps you get out the shooters better. It's just it's a stance that we have. Not everybody does, but it helps you recover the shooters.
So you've got some older guys that maybe had to change a habit there.
Oh yeah, big time. I constantly catch Keith Williams in an open stance in practice, and Jared and Trey are constantly in an open stance. Where, you know, Javen and Chris Voder never in an open stance.
Memphis with 2 smaller guards presents a different challenge than maybe you've seen so far this year. How do you handle 2 guys that have the quickness and with Harris the shooting ability
Yeah,
they
I'm
do?
just diving into them right now. You know, obviously you're dealing with talent all over the floor. I think anytime you're dealing with quick guards, it's the talent around them they can create for. So you want to shrink gaps and make sure guys can't get in the paint, but you know, if you're guarding a really big-time shooter, it's hard to do that. So, you know, depending on their lineups and whatnot.
Coaches certainly have issues with turnovers, and you want to limit those as much as possible. How do you feel where you guys are right now?
Well, we're not nearly as good as I want to be. I mean, you know, my teams have typically turned the ball over early, and by this time we have it corrected based on a number of things. And this team is getting better at it, I think, but at the same time, it was equal opportunity turnovers. Now it's the veterans are turning the ball over. So, you know, Jaren's turned the ball over in transition, Chris has turned the ball into the post, and Trey's turned the ball over in just a half-court setting, and Keith's traveling. So I think they've gotten better at it, and I think that we make strides in it, and they've certainly been conservative about it. You know, I think Jaren and Trey's assist-to-turnover ratio is 2-to-1 in the last 5 games, so they've certainly done a better job of it. But collectively, as a unit, we got to continue to get better.
How big is a road game like this in conference, top 25 team for your guys' confidence, like you've talked about, continuing to grow that connectivity?
Well, it's a great challenge. I mean, it's why you come to Cincinnati to go play in ESPN against Memphis on a Thursday night game. You know, it's why you come here to play in those type of games. So it's good for our conference when some of the top teams are playing in it right now. And you know, I like where our guys are at mentally. You know, obviously, we still got to be able to execute come game time.
You mentioned the assists. Can you contextualize this team's passing ability and maybe just how it's improved even over the course of the season? Contextualize?
What does that mean?
Give some context to
what?
You're a Rhodes Scholar finalist.
I didn't
You
know
know what
contextualize
contextualize.
Honestly, God, I wouldn't. So what? That's the second turn. You used another one on your first question. I didn't know what it was either.
Can you tell me about the passing ability of this team and maybe how it has changed, possibly improved over the course of the season?
Trey Scott is just really, and I thought he was a good passer, but he's really exceptional at making decision-making, making passes. Jaren is just, you know, has always, I think, been a really good passer. I think you get a guy like Chris Voder can catch, so I think it makes guys more confident. You know, passing is like anything else. You see it in free throw shooting and three-point shooting. It's contagious, right? Guys start passing, they feel good about where they're at. There's confidence in making passes. I just think, one thing I think the offense lends to wanting to pass, okay? And the other thing is it brings out the passing in guys. And I think guys have improved tremendously in that area. And that's a testament to our coaches and the assistant coaches and what they work with every day.
Is it surprising so many first-year teammates that's the case now, or is that maybe overblown?
We ran an offense early in the season that we'd gotten away from, and one of my assistants was really urging me to get away from it, but it promotes passing. So it promotes ball movement. And I think that helps. I mean, when you promote ball movement, it promotes that kind of passing, and then obviously guys have an innate ability to make decisions. And I just think we got a team that understands passing right now, and they're doing a good job of it. Now, typically that turns into good shooting. When you got a good passing team, that typically turns into good shooting. That piece hadn't happened yet.
You talked about how vital Trey is, specifically scoring in between wins and losses.
Yeah.
Is there a reason why in some losses he wasn't able to score the ball compared to?
Well, I think there's a few things. I think, you can't go up and down, obviously, but I think
Yeah.
he's a guy that is playing at a high level right now. He's playing with a tremendous amount of confidence. I think I've learned his game better. So from a standpoint of putting him in better positions on the floor, when you learn somebody's game, he's slowing down around the rim now. He's finishing at the rim instead of just throwing it up at the rim. So learning what he needs to get better at, acknowledging what he is. There's one thing to learn what you got to get better at, and the coaches to tell you, but you got to be able to accept it and work on it. And he's done that. So he's finishing better around the rim. He's taking better shots. He's not taking as many mid-range shots, which are 25%, 22% shots. He still likes them occasionally. He's kind of got the guy on the shoulders telling him not to take it, not to take it. And once he eliminates those completely, he'll be even more effective offensively.
John, you mentioned ESPN. How different is it? Is that something you address at all with the team? How different is it when you get a nationally televised game?
I don't. Never have. I've been coaching quite a few of them, and I know these guys have played in quite a few of them. So, one of the things that we promote in our program is, we practice in a practice facility. We don't practice in Fifth Third. We don't go the night before and shoot in gyms. We don't go to shoot around if it's before 3 o'clock in the afternoon. If you want to play outside, let's play outside. If you want to play in a barn somewhere, let's play in a barn somewhere. My thing is that, I don't promote having what kind of environment we're walking into. It's the game of basketball. At the end of the day, there's 3 entities in a game of basketball: us, them, and the officials. And I know for a fact I don't have any control over 2 of the 3. So, we don't promote that in our program. We just say, hey, let's go play.
Obviously, I know you didn't coach last year, but I don't know how many road conference games they could have won if Jaron only scored 6 points. Obviously, that's different this year. Did you have to talk to him about that, though, that he doesn't have to feel maybe necessarily pressure to score if he can impact the game with his passing or some other aspect?
No, not at all. He likes to pass. He likes making other people better. We constantly say make the right play and live with the result, and he really enjoys making the right basketball play. I like him being aggressive to score. I wish he was more aggressive to score in the Central Florida game. Zones are part of that, though, and he doesn't move a lot, so it's not a situation where, in zones he's going to move a ton. But he enjoys passing, he enjoys making the right decisions, and he typically does.
Do you have an update on Prince and how he's doing?
I don't. I just know he won't be back this year. As far as, I guess that's an update, but I don't know in terms of the future.
But just for him being around the program, I mean, is he?
It's great because his character's off the charts.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a humble nature about him that he thinks about others before himself. A lot like Trey, only a lot less vocal. Just a great guy to have around the program, and a really good student and really conscientious about everything around him. So it's a joy having him in practice every day.
Were you disappointed in Chris's 6 for 10 performance from the field?
I was disappointed we didn't get any more touches. I was disappointed in his 4th foul. I was disappointed that he didn't get more touches. He's sealing the post. We got to make sure we hit him. We missed him about 4 or 5 times, and we can't afford to do that.
You've talked about fighting through adversity and the connectivity. What's the biggest thing you've learned about this group so far?
I don't know if it's any one thing. I think it's a collective. Getting through to certain guys in certain ways. Understanding that got to communicate differently with different people. Understanding where to put guys in where they feel most comfortable. Understanding what unit on the floor we can play a little faster with, and what unit on the floor we're just not going to be able to play fast with. I had to make a lot of changes, style of play wise, and we're not. We rarely score in transition right now, which for those who know me, is a struggle. But we'll get there eventually.
Anything else?
John, you said you're just getting into Memphis. Obviously, they're a totally different team without Wiseman, who's going to be a lottery pick. How much do you look back at, when you do research on facing them, how much will you look at what they've done so far, with and without him?
Yeah, I think they've done a great job, first and foremost, and I'm glad you asked that question, because to have the youngest team in the country and to be so advanced defensively, they've got more coverages than we got plays. They got a ton of coverages, and that really speaks to how disciplined they are and what a great job their coaching, Penny and their coaching staff's done. They also have more than one lottery pick, so they got another lottery pick in their big kid Precious. So it's been really impressed by what they do and how they go about doing it. And I know what it's like to take over a team where you have to put in everything new, and certainly went against Cal's teams when I was in the SEC, and he had all great freshmen, very similar to this Memphis team. And it's a challenge for a coach to be able to do that on a consistent basis, and their discipline's been really impressive. Specifically, I'm not going to, I won't make it as far back as when Wiseman was playing. It wouldn't make a lot of sense. They played a lot of great games since then that we'll focus on.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach.